We have been seeing price cuts and homes sitting for longer in the greater Orlando area. But is this a sign of something more ominous? Should you, as a home buyer, be concerned about buying in the Orlando area right now? Today, we're going to dive into the data so you can have the latest snapshot of the Orlando real estate market. I'm Kathy Williams, and I am one half of a mother-daughter duo, Team Williams, and we are your Orlando relocation experts. As you might have heard by now, inventory in Florida has been increasing, and it still is. Can we now say we're in a buyer's market here in the greater Orlando area? Well, the answer lies in the month's supply of inventory. We need 6 months supply of inventory to be officially in a buyer's market. And right now, Orlando is at a little over 5 months. So we are basically in a buyer's market overall. And as I'm on both sides of helping clients purchase and sell homes, it definitely feels like the market is favoring buyers more than sellers right now at this particular point. But this picture of a buyer's market versus seller's market changes depending on what type of home you're looking at. If you're searching for a single family home, there is way less supply than condos and townhomes. As a matter of fact, I'm going to bring up the chart for single family home supply of inventory to show that Orlando is almost at 3.5 months supply. A balanced market is considered to be 4 months of supply. So buyers and sellers have roughly equal leverage in the single family home market. Whereas for condos and townhomes, there's about a 6 to 8 months supply of inventory. So these types of properties are very much in buyers markets. So why the difference in supply between single family homes and condos or townhomes? Well, it's probably because the demand for single-family homes has always been higher. People prefer to have more privacy and space around their neighbors if they can afford it. Because of the expense that it takes to purchase a home, people would rather pay for a home that checks more boxes and makes more sense for their lifestyle in the long run. And a lot of people don't like HOAs either. From an investment perspective, properties with land appreciate better than properties without land. What's my point here exactly? Well, how much you are in a buyer's market depends on different factors, such as the type of property, also where you're looking. There are certain parts of greater Orlando that are more in a buyer's market than others due to the variation of buyer demand. And the places aren't what you'd think. But more on that later. Regardless of these factors, I've noticed that in every city of greater Orlando, it has become easier for buyers to get a discount off the asking price or a seller concession at closing. And sellers have become more willing to concede to get the deal done, which is fantastic for home buyers. Now, let's talk about home prices. But before we talk about home prices, if you're finding value in this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. This will help other people just like yourself find us and get this good information. Perhaps you've been looking at homes online and seeing sellers make price cuts after price cut. I'm going to pull up a line graph that shows the median sale price from 2019 until now, and each line represents a different county in greater Orlando: Orange County, Seminole County, and Lake County. As you can see, since about January of 2023, there has been an ever so slight increase in home prices, but they've stayed pretty level. By the way, this data is from Sun Stats, if anybody wants to know. This data is derived from what's been recorded in the MLS, the Multiple Listing Service. Now, that was a graph showing overall data, but if we look more closely at certain cities actually have a line trending downward for the median sale price. For example, I know a lot of you are interested in Winter Gardens, so I'll pull up Winter Gardens numbers. Here we can see that overall prices have been going up over the last 10 years. If we look at the line for the last couple of years since September of 2023, the median sale price trended downward until about October of last year, and since then it's been climbing its way back up again. From my perspective, this confirms a lot of what I've been experiencing as a realtor. I've noticed that people are jumping into the market because prices aren't really coming down and the interest rates aren't really getting lower either. So people are just tired of waiting for the right time, which, as we know, the right time in the market doesn't really exist with real estate. anyways. What matters is how ready are you financially and personally to purchase a home. A question that I get sometimes is, what if I buy a home now and prices continue to go down? This is a great question, and I want to address it by comparing the housing market to the overall stock market. I'll show the chart for the median sale price in Orlando here just as an example. This is showing the median sale price of Orlando single-family homes from 2015 to 2025, a 10-year span. And as you can see, the prices have steadily risen and are on an obvious upward trajectory. Now, let's take a look at prices between 2023 and 2025. As you can see, prices are variable over the short term. Still, even over a period of the last 2 years, prices have gone up for Orlando. But if you're looking at a shorter period of time, prices do go down on their way to going up overall. This explains the phenomenon we see where sellers are making price cuts, yet overall home prices increase year over year. So much like the stock market, the housing market can go down year to year, month to month, or in the short run, but it has been trending upward overall. You might have heard the saying, it's not about timing the market, but time in the market. And that is just so true. So, are recent price cuts and increasing inventory a sign of something more ominous? No, the answer is still that we don't have the level of inventory for a market crash here in Greater Orlando. The inventory is still catching up to demand. Buyers have more choices of homes and more power to negotiate now. I'm going to show you an interesting line graph comparing different areas of Greater Orlando to Orlando itself. This is showing the month's supply of inventory for random cities in Greater Orlando that I picked, so you can see how the markets compare to Orlando itself. What this is showing is that inventory has been increasing for Orlando itself, but inventory is dropping slightly for some of these surrounding cities. Here I've got Winter Park, Oviedo, and Clermont with inventory slightly decreasing from about September of last year, while Orlando inventory has been increasing pretty consistently from March 2023. But again, this picture changes when we look at single-family homes. When I just put single-family homes as opposed to all types of properties, Orlando's supply is currently about the same as Winter Park and Clermont, but Oviedo has less inventory than the others. So Oviedo is less of a buyer's market than the other three cities here. So this is why I think it is so important to understand your individual goals in real estate. The market will respond differently based on your situation. If you're curious to know more about the Orlando real estate market, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to chat with you to answer market questions or any questions you might have about relocating to the Greater Orlando area. I hope you've found this video helpful. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.